Oh my gosh. No, Aaron. Let me tell you something. I'm so
listening.
serious about tonight's show. I've printed out.
I hear
articles.
paper. in
Yes,
this
I've
digital
printed
world
out
we live
the
in.
articles that we're going to reference, just because I feel more engaged with the material. I've done
Well, it's serious times, man. People are like leaving Disney. People are stepping down. Galaxy's Edge is ruining everything.
Right? Thank you.
No,
It's about
serious
time.
times. You need prints. You need printouts.
Listen, before Disney deletes all of the internet, they're
ruining Star Wars.
No, actually,
Star
I just
Wars
figured
is ruining
out
Disney.
everything's ruined. That's why Bob Iger's leaving. No, I actually just figured out how to get my Wi-Fi printer to work. So I was very excited about this.
Just wasting the ink.
I know, just killing trees left and right. But no, here the headline from the Motley Fool, which has become one of my favorite of all the outlets to talk about like geek media, have become some of my favorites. And here it is: Disney gets serious about saving Star Wars Land. Okay, sorry.
I don't even understand the logic behind that.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what.
Saving something that it's not like they're going to close it.
I'll tell you, Aaron. What if
it's
they
already
do?
there.
What if it's a failure? What if they just pack up the Millennium Falcon? Aaron, I think it's time to panic. Anyway, so
The funniest thing I heard was somebody said that they were going to re-theme it into an Aladdin themed area.
yeah, I remember that.
I'm like, what? Like, guys, the second ride's not even open yet.
Yeah. Well, so we are being facetious, but I actually really liked this article because it puts together a narrative that I hadn't really strung together yet and connects a few dots. So put on your conspiracy tinfoil hats, people, for just a second as we take a journey. Author is Rick Menouez, and he says, basically, there's a media blitz that kicks off Tuesday. As we recorded it, it's Wednesday, so we're right in the middle of it. On basically every single freaking media platform Disney owns to advertise for Galaxy's Edge. And I'd heard like little things here and there, like this 2-hour special they're doing on Freeform, and I'd seen like a few new ads popping up here and there. But when you string it all together, it kind of paints a picture. We'll start out Tuesday. There's a promotional spot on ABC's Live with Kelly and Ryan, and that was in the morning. That evening on Blackish on ABC, there was another promo on Galaxy's Edge. Then quickly after that, they're running promos and ads and promo spots and various types of segments on the different platforms. And all of these platforms include Good Morning America, The View, Nightline, several of the network's primetime shows, including Modern Family. I actually saw this on Instagram, where some of the cast of Modern Family were at the parks, are going to be advertising for it in one way or another. There's going to be a promo on Dancing with the Stars, and it's all throughout this week, Aaron, all plugging the 14-acre expansion that we all know and we've talked about ad nauseum, Galaxy's Edge. And, of course, that's to say nothing of Freeform, which used to be ABC Family, which I didn't even know that change had happened. I didn't realize ABC Family wasn't a thing anymore. I only learned when I was doing my copious amounts of research for the show tonight. I'm here for you people. But Freeform's doing that 2-hour special with Neil Patrick Harris that's just a bunch of celebrities talking about Galaxy's Edge. This and I'll get through the rest of the piece, Aaron, then I want to kind of hear your response to the overall picture once we put all the pieces down. So sorry about the monologuing here. But so basically Disneyland attendance last quarter was down despite opening of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. And we've already talked about a lot of the various factors that hit that. But then quickly, we just had the opening of Galaxy's Edge at Disney World, but there was also Hurricane Dorian. There have been lines, but certainly not the kind of lines that we saw with, say, Avatar. Essentially, this galactic takeover of all of Disney's media platforms kind of comes together to paint a picture of their sort of marketing reset, their take two to really push and market Galaxy's Edge, coming in the context of Bob Iger's jokes on the earnings call at the beginning of this year, Aaron. I think we talked about it, where he just joked, "Yeah, I'm just gonna have to tweet that it's open, and that's all the marketing we need to do. Everyone already wants to go to this thing." So there's that. There's the some headlines recently about a possible recession. It's there's a lot of factors here where it looks like Disney's trying to position themselves to be the ones to be able to re-energize the excitement for park attendance this final quarter of the year. Your take, Aaron?
I think that these outlets like to sensationalize.
Yeah, but Aaron, they have
this type of thing.
They have the guys from Sports Center doing a segment on Galaxy's Edge. The guys from Sports Center.
But think about it. This is a big expansion that they've been spending years and years developing. They're gonna promote it.
Well, yeah, but why now? What took them so long?
They've been promoting it. I've been seeing stuff like
no. They invited
nonstop.
They invited a bunch of bloggers. They should have done this media pitch like the month before and at the opening. That's when all of this sort of happened.
They had launch specials on ABC already. They had stuff on the Disney Channel. They had live streaming of the opening event that you could watch. This stuff's been going on. This is just they're now doing a big push. Now, I'm not going to say that it's not driven somewhat by the low attendance, because sure, it could be. But you think they filmed some of this stuff after they found out the attendance was low? No. If they're filming a 2-hour segment with, who'd you say it was?
Like Neil Patrick Harris and a bunch of celebrities.
Harris,
yeah.
They filmed that before it was even open. I guarantee you. This is stuff that they've been planning, not in reaction to the low attendance. This is stuff they've already been planning. Now, are they kind of doing a consolidated effort right now because of the low attendance? Sure, maybe.
Yeah.
But it's also the lead up to the new Star Wars movie, and they're just pushing out new stuff for that. The new trailer is going to be hitting soon. So this is timing-wise, it makes sense. They're going to be pushing for this. The new ride is opening soon, so it makes sense. They're going to be re-advertising. If you want to turn it into oh man, Galaxy's Edge is horrible and nobody likes it, nobody wants to go, and so now Disney's doing this desperate effort. If you want to turn it into that, sure, that's going to get clicks. But
or maybe your article printed out and read on a podcast.
Yeah.
Well, I honestly hadn't put together. I think for me the significance is, now that I'm taking off my conspiracy sensationalism hat for a second. I think there's certainly credence to this is sort of a secondary marketing push that is a reaction to the lower attendance, because Bob Iger has said as much, as far as being a little disappointed in the way they marketed. I forget what he's been on a ton of outlets recently because he has this new book coming out, and so he's talked about that a little bit. But I think this is the responsible leveraging of their platforms to put Galaxy's Edge in front of people who don't think about the Disney parks every day. So people who are watching the mainstream sitcoms that are airing on a mainstream American network, like that's different than just streaming it to the Disney Parks YouTube channel or something like that. So I think it is a consolidated effort to bolster attendance for this final quarter. But I think it's all of the factors we've talked about. It's the pass holder blockout. Poor call. It's the hurricane there's literally an evacuation in Florida for almost a week. So like that is going to hurt your bottom line for your theme park in Florida. So there's a bunch of reasons why they want people going back to the parks and boosting park attendance overall, because you got to remember Disney, the company, when we're talking about the Disney parks, the financial success of them is based on attendance. And attendance is based on how do they attract people to the park. So it's not like they're worried about Star Wars failing or not being attractive to people, or Galaxy's Edge not being attractive to park goers. That's why it's the centerpiece of all the marketing, trying to get people to go to the parks. So they're leveraging everything they've accomplished with Galaxy's Edge that makes it the most advanced expansion and the biggest expansion, and in this guy's humble opinion, the best expansion that Disney's ever done. They are using that as the centerpiece of the marketing to get people back to the parks.
Yeah, I think across the board, park attendance is low, and I think that it's funny to see people try to blame that on specifically on Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Galaxy's Edge was a big failure, so that's why park attendance is
Like,
low.
what do you
No,
what do they
park
think it would be if
attendance
there was no
is low.
Galaxy's Edge? Like, if there was no Galaxy's Edge, would like nobody be at the parks?
Like less people went to the parks because of Galaxy's Edge? No, there's so many other factors. Now, is Galaxy's Edge underperforming? 100%.
Yeah.
I'm not such a Disney apologist that I'm going to say that it's been a resounding success. I think it's underperforming. I don't think it's had the impact they thought it was going to have. I don't think it's had the appeal that they thought it was going to have. Is it a flop? Is it a failure? Are people not going to the parks because of Star Wars? No.
Yeah.
That's not why. And it did that. Did the the woman who just stepped down from Disney? What was her name?
Yeah, I've got it here. I've got the new people here. They just named new leadership for both Disneyland and Walt Disney World today, kind of in response to that story yesterday. I don't have her name in front of me, but yesterday the story
Catherine
broke.
Powell. Catherine Powell stepped down. Her position was eliminated, quote unquote. And I saw headlines where it's like, amid Galaxy's Edge failure, this person steps down. It's like, I don't think that's why. I really don't think that had anything to do with it. I think this was a planned, hiring of new people and a planned replacement of Catherine Powell. And I don't think it had anything to do with Galaxy's Edge. But if you throw Star Wars into a title of a headline that along with somebody leaving Disney, it's going to get more clicks.
Yeah, that's exactly why. That's why. Look at the title of this podcast. I'm not.
Riley Blanton steps down from Mouse and Castle.
Amid
Galaxy's Edge failure.
Mid criticism of the mouse. No, but Disney this today, kind of in response to that story, named new leadership for both Disneyland and Disney World. I don't know if you're tracking the story, Aaron.
Yeah, I saw that today, but it's news to me.
So
New news.
I just saw this. So Disneyland Resort is going to be overseen by Rebecca Campbell, who was most recently the president of Europe, Middle East, and Africa for the company's direct-to-consumer and international segment. And then Walt Disney World is going to be overseen by Josh D'Amaro, who was previously doing Disneyland. So they're moving him back to the East Coast, and they're assuming their new roles in November. And the Disneyland Paris duties are going to be handed off to Michael Koglaser, who leads the Disney parks and resorts in Asia. So essentially, what's the lady's name? You just said it, Aaron, I know. But
Catherine Powell.
Her position was an executive in charge of all the parks. And essentially, she did her job. Like, it was about integrating the way the parks were developing. And some of the stories today I was reading were basically she accomplished that, and now they want to empower each of these new positions to really handle their specific park well.
Which is probably a great strategy. You get a little bit more focus on specific parks instead of having one person over the whole thing.
Yeah.
So.
No, exactly. Well, and they because they've lost they did lose some stock. What was it? It was so it fell 3% when the news broke of the park attendance dropping at the last earnings call. And they also announced the raising of prices. So I guess it's interesting to see how they handle this going forward, because here's the thing that Disney can do. They can always run specials. They can always run discounts, special vacation packages to attract people to come back. Like if they overestimated the popularity or the demand for Galaxy's Edge, or if they overestimated the price people are willing to pay and it's hurting their attendance, it's pretty much the easiest thing in the world to run a bunch of specials to get attendance up. And so that's really all you have to do.
And they recently announced the kind of the late entry ticket where you can go later in the day for a cheaper price. I've been getting marketing emails around that because I have a trip coming up to Disney, and I've been getting these emails like you can get I think it was like a 3 or 4 day, one park per day late entry for, and I forget what the price ended up being, but it was like $70 something per day, which is significantly cheaper than a typical 1-day pass.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're responding to the low attendance in many ways, including offering these deals, including bolstering the marketing for Galaxy's Edge, whatever. There's a lot of strategy around it that they're really trying to, kind of get those numbers back up, which is what a business does. They react. So,
yeah, exactly. And that's well, we've talked
the Disney
about
parks aren't closing anytime soon.
yeah. In fact, like we can mourn for a second because Disney's pretty good at this. So what this is probably more or less a hiccup as they figure out how to rectify this, and then it'll be really crowded again, and then we can be disappointed. Because I don't know about you, man, but my last 2 trips to the parks, one at Land and one at World, were pretty great. Not having a lot of people there.
I was going to say, yeah, we should, we as people that like to go to Disney a lot, we should be happy that the attendance is a bit lower right now.
Yeah.
Get a little bit more breathing room.